Welcome to my SQL video tutorial series. This is the fourth video in the series, and we are going to enter data into the tables we have created already. Already we've created the student profile table for collecting student personal information, and also the student exam table for collecting student exam records. Let's dive into the DBL 300 connection. That will take us to the database server, and then we can work on the workbench editor. Okay, so this is the general script there, and then the last time we created the exam table. Let me run the command to describe the exam table once more. All right, you can see that we encountered an error here, and the reason is that I didn't activate any database. So like I indicated in the third video, you have to activate your database before you can work in it. Right now I wanted to work in the UPSA database, but it's not active. So let's activate it by running the command in line 2, use UPSA DB. Okay, so now it's active. Let's describe the exam table. Alright, so now we have our exam table there. We have all the fields. You remembered we added the student ID afterwards. I'm creating the table. Yeah, so it's at the very bottom of it, and it is the primary key. So that is going to be the field that will uniquely identify our student exam records. And then we have the remark, the grade, and the total score. These are going to be what computed by the system itself. So we wouldn't provide these values when we are entering data. Once we provide the class assignment score, the IA score, and then the final exam score, it will automatically generate the total score, grade, and then remark. All right, let's open a new script, and then we can begin to enter data. To enter data, you use the insert into keyword here. So we can say insert into, let me zoom things out before. Yeah, insert into, then you bring the name of the table, because that is you have to insert into something. So what are we inserting into? We are inserting into a table, and you remember that I said in relational database the tables are the repository where we store data. So if you are inserting something into your database, you are inserting it into a table. So let's bring the name of the table. Let's start with our student profile table. Let me refer, and then we can get the name properly. The spelling of the names are usually important, so you should make sure you get that right. Okay, let's get back to it. Insert into student profile. So it's right here. So let's now bring the values. Yeah. So if you want, you can also declare the fields. Okay. When you look at the table, some of the fields will be generated automatically. So we have to declare the fields that we'll be entering into. So we'll open a bracket and declare the fields. What fields inside our student profile table do we want to enter data into? So we can start with the student ID here. Yeah. Student ID. And then the next one will be let's say exam title. Okay, the exam title, exam date, the semester. I remember I added semester, but if you are not sure, you can always go back and check. The semester, class assignment score, I think it's class assignment, there is no score in it. Then IA score, then final exam score. Okay, let me refer back so that we can be very sure of our fields. Okay, so we have exam title, exam date, course name, course code, semester, class assignment, IA score, final exam score. I think I've left out the course name and the course code. Let me bring them back. So let's get to our data entry script. So we can add the course name. You can put it anywhere. So course name, then the course code. It is case sensitive, so you should make sure you get it right. Okay, so that is the declaration. It looks quite long here, and you close the bracket at the end here. Okay, yeah, but you can break it down into several lines. So let me go to the next line. So we are inserting into student what profile. Then we have declared the fields we are inserting, or the fields whose values we want to enter. Now we have to bring the values, the actual values we'll be entering. So the actual values will be entering. So we'll say values. Yeah. So let's say values, and then we'll open bracket and enter the values as well. So I think it should be consistent with the declaration. It has to be consistent with the declaration. Okay, so let's start with the student ID. So I'm assuming that the first ID is 0080. And then the next one will be what? Exam title. Exam title should be in quotes. Exam title should be in quotes. So let's use single quotes for now. So we'll say database, exam, database. Yeah, sorry, database. End of semester exam. End of semester exam. All right, so let's put a quote there. Then we'll also go for the next, and that will be the exam date. So let me use today's date for that. Yeah, remember there is a check there, so it should be what greater, less than or equal to today's date. So it will accept today's date. So let's put the date. Usually we start with the year, then we'll bring the month, and then we'll also bring the day. So let me make it 22nd instead of 23rd. All right, so our next value is going to be, let me shift it. It's going to be the course name. The course name will just be what database. So let's say database. Okay. Then the course code. I'm going to use our database course code here. So it's BITM 303. I think we can add some space here. Okay. So the semester. You remember the semester we coded it, so we should be careful here. Let's use the first semester because our database is in the first semester. So let's make it first here. And then the class assignment score. So here we are just going to enter their class assignment score. Class assignment should be, let me say, this particular student is scoring 8 in the class assignment, and in the IA he scores 20, and in the final exam he scores let's say 40. Okay. All right, so you see I've made some mistake here. The name of the table is what? The exam table, not the student table. Well, the fields I've captured or have declared are for what? The exam table. So we'll simply change that. Yeah, we'll enter data into the student profile table later. Okay, so let's close this, and then we'll put our semicolon and look through to see if there are errors. There are no errors. It means we can run this command. Okay, so the command is successful. Let's get to our general script and then we can look at the data we've just entered. So we are going to select or generate a list of what the records in our exam table. So to do that, we use the select statement here. So select all. So with all, we use the asterisk key for all. So select all from, it should be from what? Some place. And that place is the table. So select all from what? The table. And what is the name of that table? That is the exam table. Yeah. Select all from what? Exam. So this simple command is going to what? Generate a list of all the exam records we have in the exam table. Let's run the commands. Okay, so you can see that we have our exam records there. The title of the exam is what? Database end of semester. The exam date is indicated. The course name, course code, and its first semester class assignment score is what? 80. IA score is 20. Final exam score is 40. So you can see that we never entered the rest of it. The total score was computed, we didn't enter it. Then the grade was computed, we didn't enter it. And then the remark is what? Better luck next time. Yeah. And then the student ID is at the very end. So it was because we entered it very late into the table. Okay. So that is the data we've entered. We can enter more data. Let's enter more data and then we'll begin to do some manipulations with this data. Okay, so let's go to the data entry script. Let me name the script as what? Exam data. So we'll call this script exam data. Exam data. Okay. Now we can simply copy this command, paste it a number of times and make modifications to enter more data into our exam database. Okay. So this time we are going to use only one insert statement here. So I'm going to use a comma and then I'll bring the set of what values we'll be entering. Okay. So we can just move to the next line and begin to provide the sets. And the sets of values should just be separated by commas. So that is the other thing you should note here. Okay, so I think this should be enough. So the last set of records should end with a semicolon, except that there are others you use comments there. All right, now let's modify the values, especially the IDs, because the ID is the primary key. If we don't modify them, then we are going to encounter some errors there. So 81, 82, that is the ID, 83, ID 84, then 85, 86. So we're going to have like 7 records. So the name of the exam is the same, the date is the same, the course code is the same, the semester is the same. So we'll only be modifying the values we have here. So let's say this particular student scores 5, 15, and then 25 for the final exam. Okay, let's say 6, 18, and then 20. Then we'll leave it 8, 12, and then 15. And the next one will make it 3. Let's say 7, 12. Then we'll get 10. Yeah, let's make this 35, and then 55. So that some should get A's, others will get B's, and so on. Okay. So I think everything is set. We can execute the command. So okay. So the data has been entered. Let's go to the general script, and then we'll select all record from our exam table once more. So I'm going to execute line 5. Okay, so you can see that we have what a number of records there, except that the results are not impressive. We had a number of F's there. We have a number of F's there. Probably it's because of the grading system I used. I didn't create room for more grade options, so there are quite a number of F's here. All right, so there's only one A, then 2 C's, and then 4 F's. So this is really bad results. Okay, so apart from generating all the records, so I mean, you can also generate some of the records. So assuming you are interested in knowing the students, let's say the student ID, and yeah, the student ID, let's say the course name, and then the grade. So you want to generate a list that you want to generate a list that will contain the student ID, the course name, and then the grade. That is what we want to do now. Okay, so we are going to use a select statement once more. So select, you see that the select statement is very important. So this time we are not selecting all, so we'll not use the asterisk. So you simply indicate the names of the columns you want to select. So select student ID. Okay, so student ID. Yeah, then you separate them with commas. Then course name, and then we'll also select grade. Grades. Okay, what else should we add? Perhaps the remark. We may be interested in the remark as well. Okay, so yeah, we are selecting these. So from where are we selecting it from? From exam. So this is just to tell you that, I mean, you don't always have to select all if you don't want to. Let's execute this particular command and see the outcome. All right, so this is the table we have generated. You have what the student IDs, the course name, and then the grades, and then the remark. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what else we want to do. Let's go back to look at the whole table. So I'm going to execute line 5. Okay, so we have the whole table once more. So let's say we want to select all students. Okay, so let's say we want to select all those who scored F in the exam. Let's say we're going to select all students, generate a list of all students who scored what F. Yeah, there are a number of ways to do it. So let's start with select select all. Okay, or if we want to select some specified fields, I mean, we can pick this. Okay, so we just pick this, select the student ID, the course name, the grade, the remark from what? The exam table. And now we want to add a condition. So we'll bring the where clause here. Let's bring the where clause. So where grade, so where the grade, yeah, we can use like or equal to. So we can say where the grade is equal to okay, let me use double quote here. So where the grade is equal to F. Yeah, so this will give us all those with F's. So where the grade is equal to F. Let's put our semicolon and then execute the command. All right, so you see it has given us a list of all those who had grade F. We can also use the like or the in operator here. So let's in place of what the equal sign, we are saying like. Let's see, like, yeah, where the grade is like F. Okay, so this will also do. Let's execute this particular command. All right, so you see it's the same thing. And then we can also use in. So let's say where the grade is in. So I'm going to simply what repeat where the grade and then in. So with the in, we are going to use bracket here. Okay, so there are no syntax issues. Let's execute it and see what happens. So you can use in, like, or equal to sign here. Good. Okay, so the other thing we also want to do here, let me look at the entire table once more. Okay, so we may be interested in knowing the highest total score, the highest, or let's say the average score, or the average total score, the lowest score. Yeah, we can also compute all of these from our table. So let's see, select. Okay, let me use this select statement once more. Okay, we'll copy that. Okay, so now our condition is going to be that okay, maybe I should do it in a new line. Yeah. Okay, so let's say select. We want average grade, so average grade. And yeah, from exam. So we want the average grade from exam. So we just put the grade in here. Not the average grades, the average total score. Yeah, it should be the average total score. All score, yeah. This is how it should be. Okay, so the average total score is what 54 point what yeah 5714. Yeah. Okay, so we can also try to find out what the highest total score. So select max. So we are going to use the max key here. So select max total score. select max total score from what the exam table, from exam. Okay, let me correct this. It should be underscore. My keyboard is misbehaving, so okay. So the maximum total score is 100. Yeah, perhaps somebody scored 100. Oh. Okay, so let's also look for the minimum. Okay, we are talking about what the total score here. What about the final exam score? So we can also look for what the maximum final exam score. Yeah, so with that, we'll select again max, and then final exam score. From exam. Exam is the table. Okay, so I'm going to close the bracket here to get rid of the syntax issue there. All right, the maximum final exam score is 55. Yeah, and then we can also select the minimum total score, the minimum final exam score. Yeah, so what you use is just the mean. Okay, mean. All right, let's say final exam score. Okay, from exam, let's execute it and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, let's look well. Yeah, there shouldn't be a space here. I've added a space here. So let's execute it once more. Okay, so the minimum final exam score is 12. Okay, so we can also choose to try to know which student scored these maximum or minimum scores or average scores and so on. Yeah, that can also be done. But with that, we'll be looking at a subquery. Okay, yeah. So let's try one subquery here. So we want to know the particular student that scored the minimum score. So we are going to select all. Let's select all this time. Select all from exam. Then we'll bring the condition where select all from exam where then we'll say the final exam score. Yeah, so where the final exam score is equal to, then we'll use another select statement. So select, then minimum, select min. Okay, so inside that min we'll say what final exam score. Okay, let's close this. All right, so then from, we have to indicate where we are selecting what this from. So from what exam. Okay, yeah, so we'll put a semicolon here, and okay, so there will be another bracket here, so that we can close all the brackets we've opened, this particular bracket. So you can see the corresponding bracket. Once you click on it, it will highlight it in yellow. Okay. All right, so there is no syntax issue there at the moment. It means we are good to go. We can execute this command. But I think I can break it down such that so this is it. Yeah, so we are selecting all from exam, where the final exam score is equal to selecting the minimum score from the exam table. So this will give us the student with the minimum score. Okay, let's execute that. All right, so there is some spelling issue there. Let's check it well. Okay, let's make sure there is consistency. So the consistency is very important here. So you can see that the issue is with the hyphen here. That hyphen should be underscore. Yeah, so we should be very careful with these things. Okay, so I'm going to execute that, and then yeah, the student who had the final exam score was the one with the ID 185. So we can do that to get the student with the maximum score and so on. Okay. So we are going to end it here, and then we'll continue with more data entry into the student profile table, and also we'll do some manipulations in the student profile table as well. Okay, and then from there we can move to look at the joints. We can move to look at the joints, or we'll also look at things like how to update records, how to delete records. Yeah, we'll be looking at all of these in our subsequent videos. Okay, see you, and then please you can subscribe, and then yeah, I'll appreciate that.